I felt very judged by you in the past, but I know that 99% of that was actually me expecting you to be judging me, and therefore I felt defensive or whatever, right? But over time, I've realized like I've done some like really knuckleheaded things. You know, it might be embarrassed, like I said something somewhere that was like really, gosh, I really wish I hadn't have said that, and then like I never want to bring it up again because it was embarrassing, or like I made like this mistake when we were living in Kenya, and it ended up costing us money and costing you time and a lot of stress, and like I'm so ashamed about it, but you're just like you don't even think about it anymore. No. And you've proven that over and over again, where like one example that I get to keep bringing up, and I get to keep bringing it up because you don't hold it over my head. And that is, there were a pair of earbuds, and I was like, those are my earbuds. And she was like, no, they're mine. I'm like, no, they're definitely mine. Like, this is not a question. We're not having this conversation. I take the earbuds. I'm using them for several days. She can't find her earbuds. Oh, my goodness. And then I went to put on my jacket, and guess whose earbuds were in his jacket pocket? It couldn't have been hers because she's not a he. It was mine. And I was like...
And we had this tradition of putting names on our earbuds because we keep losing them.
But we had gotten we got new earbuds or something had happened. There was some reason why I actually did have a pair that didn't have a tag on it, and you had a pair that didn't have a tag on it. But I realized like in that moment, an earlier version of myself would have been like, I'm just going to like pretend this never happened. I'm just going to go like put hers somewhere and say, oh, you know, like here are yours or something like
honey,
terrible lying like that. Like,
I found them in the closet.
Yeah, lucky you have such a nice guy who found your earbuds that you misplaced. And then I would have lived with that forever. Then there's the other thing, you know, where you do something like that and you're feeling kind of humiliated about it, and you're like, you hold on to it for a while, and you're like, oh, I got to do something about it, and I don't, this is really hard, and then you kind of like mumble about it for a few days, and you're like, oh, by the way, you know, I did that immediately. I'm like, hold on to this for 0 seconds. I marched right into the office, and I was like, you were right, I was wrong, here are your earbuds, here are mine. And like, that was so... First of all, it was great for me because now I didn't have to like carry it anymore. I took responsibility. I didn't have to blame myself. Yeah, I made a mistake. I went to clean up my mess. And boy, just how good that felt.
I know that. And it wasn't good for me. I got my headphones back.
It's great for you. But I feel when I like look at these events, like even yesterday on the way home, after talking to my brother and his wife, I was just like really bummed out. And you... We're like, what's the matter? Oh, we walked inside and you're like, what's the matter? And I'm like, I'm bummed out. And you're like, you know, that's not helping, you know? No, and like the blame and the shame or the guilt, like you could have been mad at me. I almost feel like that's one of the keys to my happiness in this relationship, is that I can actually be totally forthright and be like, yeah, I screwed this thing up. Or you might notice something, like even on the way back, like you screwed this up, right? And then, but that wasn't blame, and you didn't even say it in that way. But like, that's basically the thing, is like, you made a mistake. But in the past, I know I would have been defensive because you're like accusing me of making a mistake, as opposed to just, you know, sharing it. And then you get to be, and then it's like part of cleaning up what, you know, what we were, whatever mess we had made.